If you remember the challenges of trying to ride your first bike without trainer wheels, and they didn't have them in my day, spare a thought for those who once learned to ride atop the towering old penny farthing. That historic mode of transport is still a favourite, as you've just heard with Robin. Dan Talbot is a penny farthing enthusiast, and he joins us now. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Ian.
Where does your passion for the penny farthing come from?
It probably started with my father when I was a child. Dad built one, and I recall going with him when he took it for his first test ride. So I was there for his first test ride, and I was there about 4 seconds later for his first crash. And, progressed from there.
Are they difficult to ride?
They're difficult to get started on because you have to sort of get a little bit of a hop going and then scooter along and launch yourself up into the saddle. But once you're actually pedaling along, they're actually very easy to ride.
Do they go very fast?
Yeah, they can. They can get away from you down hills and so on.
Right.
There's no real brakes to speak of, so they can get up a fair speed going down a hill. So
now you're talking about how you have to hop to get on it.
Mm-hmm.
What about getting off?
The same thing, Ian.
All right.
There's a little step at the back of the frame that you just sort of lean back and put your foot on the step, and then at the same time you put your foot on the rear wheel just to use it as a brake and slow it down, and then when you've lost enough speed, you just simply hop off.
It's not for the faint-hearted because you're fairly high up. How high off the ground are you on a typical penny farthing?
Well, my bike, and bearing in mind, I'll speak in the old language, I'm 6'3".
Yeah. My
bike has a 55-inch front wheel, which is determined by the inside seam of my leg. So the whole idea with the penny farthing is the bigger the front wheel, the faster you go. So I could perhaps stretch to a 57-inch wheel, I guess, which means I would be a good 100 to 110 inches off the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 6'5" in the old money. Would I be able to ride your bike, or are they very height specific?
No, absolutely. You'd be able to ride my bike. In fact, you would quite comfortably ride a 60-inch penny farthing, which means you could get up a really good head of steam there, Ian.
Right. Have you ever had any major spills?
Not major. I've had a few little ones, a few embarrassing ones, but nothing major. A major spill is in the old, what they used to call a header, is where you go over the handlebars and sort of drive you.
That would not be nice. No. How far have you actually gone on a single journey?
100 miles. I've been to Tasmania for the Australian Penny Farthing Championships a couple of times. Evandale, just out of Launceston, is the spiritual home of penny farthing racing in Australia, and I've been there twice now, and it kicks off with a 100-mile or 160-kilometre, what they call the Classic Century, and you would get 12 hours to do that, and it's a very pleasant ride from Evandale out to a place called Del Lorraine and back.
In beautiful countryside as well.
Lovely out there, yes.
Yeah, I understand you recently had a run on the goldfields.
I did. I went out there for the National Veteran Car Rally. I took my 100-year-old Model T Ford, and there was plenty of room on the trailer, so I threw the penny on as well, and had a nice ride, a few rides out there actually, including one day down to Coolgardie and back. And
your wife Catherine, she'd have to be involved, otherwise life would be a misery at home.
Yeah, she's involved. The first time I went to Evandale, she didn't have a bike, and she saw how much fun I was having, and the next thing I know, she's on eBay, and we've got 2 pennies in the family now.
And she finds it easy enough to ride?
Oh, absolutely. She, in fact, at her maiden trip to Evandale, she won the 30-kilometre road race championship, so she's actually an Australian champion.
Well, long may those pedals keep turning. Thanks, Dan, so much for talking to us.
No, my pleasure, Ian. Thank you.
See you later, Dan Talbot.